Hello friends, it's Sally dropping in to share with you a new scrapbooking layout. The layout that I have today is a double page layout. One half of the layout is a traveler's notebook size layout. So it measures in total with the spine 5.5 inches wide by 8.25 inches tall. And then the second page is just a traditional pocket page. It's got 4 pockets in it, each of them measuring 3 by 4 inches. 3 of those pockets will have photos in them that are obviously 3 by 4 inches. The last one is going to have a journal card that I made using my Cricut. I used my Cricut in this layout to make my own pattern paper, and that's the patterned paper that I'm adding to the far left-hand side of this layout right now. I found an XOXO image in the image library in Cricut, and I repeated it over and over and over onto a little strip that measures, I think it's like 1/2 inch wide by 8.25 inches tall. And then it was written in different colors. So I've got kind of like a magenta, dark blue, green and yellow, I think is what I used. And I repeated those colors pretty well throughout the layout. My title is going to be die cut as well, like traditionally, just from cardstock. You'll see that in just a moment. I'm adding this banner at the top of the page. I converted it from a cut file to draw. And all I do to do that is at the top of your canvas in Cricut Design Space, you can change it from basic cut to pen. And that's what I used to create that banner. And then I just drew it in black pen. I offset it so it has something to cut when the draw is done. If I don't add the offset, it just draws and leaves it on the paper. It doesn't do anything else with it. I didn't want that. So offset is a very handy tool, at least in my crafting. And then as you can see, there is the title underneath. That is one entire cut file, again, that I found in the image library in Cricut Design Space. I absolutely loved it. I thought it was so cute. The Y is kind of like, has like confetti through it kind of thing. I was going to say polka dots, but it's not polka dots. It's more like confetti. And then the O is fairly just basic and straightforward. And then the U has the little dots in the center of it. I cut those from primary colored cardstocks as well, yellow, green, and blue. And then you saw me adding the journaling to this layout as well. That was added to a separate shape in Cricut Design Space. I added a border to it. I attached a border to it, and then also the journaling, which I wrote with a navy blue pen. I think it's called Midnight Blue or just Midnight, and it's one of the Cricut pens. And then I attached that to the like right hand side of the layout. And that's really the last piece of this part of the page that I needed to add. Some of the embellishments that I used on this layout come from older Simple Stories collections. I used some brads and then some die cuts. And then as you can see, I'm adding some glitter to the word you. Now I'm moving on to page 2. This is the 3 by 4 inch journal card that I created. Again, I have that border that I created in Cricut Design Space with the repeating X's and O's. And then actually the pattern papers beneath that I used are both from Ellie's Studio, I believe. Both of those are older collections as well. I typically use textured white cardstock from American Crafts in my layouts. I think for this layout in particular, I found a couple of sheets of just plain white cardstock from Close to My Heart. So got those used up, and that's what I'm using in this layout, as well as there is a little bit of the textured white cardstock through it as well. So on the little white space here, I'm adding this Love Mail mailbox. It was a cut image in its entirety but I manipulated it so that it became draw and cut. I knew that the XOXO in it with those little hearts that are inset would not cut very well. So I converted that to draw, and then the rest of the mailbox is cut. So it's mostly cardstock. And then this little paper airplane that I'm adding foam squares to is also from an older Simple Stories collection. I'm just going to add liquid glue to the back of those as well, so that one day in the future they don't, like, it doesn't fall off. And it'll be placed over top of those two hearts in the center. And I think I add some glitter to that as well, and that pretty well brings me to the end of this layout. Yeah, so I'm just going to add a little more glitter to the entire inside centermost portion of the mailbox, and that's it for me. Thank you so much for joining me today, friends. I do have close-ups coming up, so feel free to stick around for those. And if you'd like, head down to the description box as well, and I will link all the products that are still available for your viewing pleasure as well. I'll be back again soon. Bye, guys.